Now then, Shreddheads, 2024 is here, and for Shreddy, this means it's time to start that mass gain phase. And in this video, I'm going to break down exactly what my macros are going to be, what my workout is going to look like, and how I'm going to be documenting my progress so that this year I can add some serious mass without getting too fat to put me in better position for the next time I step on stage, which will be at the end of 2024, and so I have a bigger presence and more strength for wrestling, which is honestly... My name is Shreddy, a professional wrestler and the 2022 NABBA Mr. Britain bodybuilding champion. I've been lifting since I was a teenager and I've been competing in bodybuilding for over 10 years now. I'm not the guy to speak to if you want to become a pro bodybuilder, but if you do want to get bigger, get leaner, and feel better about yourself, I might be able to help out. My real passion. Don't follow exactly what I do, because my macros and my workout splits might not be the best thing for you. However, follow the principles and follow the tips that I'm going to share in this video. Apply them to yourself to have the best gains possible. Let me know down in the comments below what your goals are for 2024. So starting point, as of the 31st of December, my body weight is 230 pounds exactly, waking up fasted after I've had my piss, and this puts me 24 pounds up from the last time that I competed. So in terms of body weight, I'm not going into this phase looking to add a ton of body weight. What I'm actually looking to do at the start of this phase is more of a body recomposition. So what that means is I'm going to clean up my diet, and I'm going to go through what the macros will be and the foods that I'll be in just a moment. I'm going to clean the diet up. I'm going to start tracking workouts again. I'm going to swap the workout round from what I have been doing, start logbooking it. I'm going to incorporate a little bit of cardio back into my weekly routine, and we're going to clean things up, and the body weight, if anything, is going to drop because we've just had Christmas. Things have been a lot less strict. Junk food has been eaten. The workout split has been a little bit adjusted depending on gym opening times, when I can get to the gym and things like that. Coming into this phase now, everything is going to be bang on. So I'm not expecting to gain that weight. If anything, I'll probably start to drop a little bit in the early stages, which is fine because that weight I'll be losing will be water, there'll be some fat, and we'll start to, as the body is looking a little bit better, and then we can adjust the calories and start looking to up the body weight. So what is diet and macros looking like for the first part of this off season? I'm going to be having between 420 and 450 grams of carbs a day. I'm going to be having 270 protein, and fats is going to be around the 70 gram mark. This is pretty similar to the diet I was following up until about a month ago, before things started getting a bit laxed off for Christmas. I'm going to go straight back to that diet, not going to cut anything down dramatically. I'm going to be consistent with making sure I hit all of those macros within about a 5% leeway. So like I say, this is going to be pretty strict as if it were a prep. The reason I've got that fluctuation of 420 to 450 grams of carbs is purely because I usually eat 6 meals a day, and one of my carb portions is usually 70 grams of carbs because I'll have a Tilda microwave rice as my carb source, which is 70 grams of carbs. I'll normally have cream of rice with some blueberries, and the portion size that I'm used to having, it comes to about 70 grams of carbs. So if I'm having that 6 times a day, that comes to 420 grams of carbs. The 450 will be if I add a little bit of honey, or if I add some extra fruit, or if I'm maybe having some sauce, making a chili or something like that. If I'm having some carb powder during my workout, after my workout, whatever it might be. So I've got that little bit of a fluctuation of between 420 and 450 grams of carbs. Anywhere within that range, I'm going to be happy with. Protein, I'm going to aim to be bang on. Fats, I'm going to be aiming to be bang on. In terms of meal timings, I'm going to be shooting for 6 meals a day. However, some days, if I'm going to be up later, because maybe it's a wrestling day, I've got to wake up earlier, I'm at a show, and I'm going to be awake later that day, I'll stretch the portion sizes out over 7 meals. So the macros are going to be the same, but it'll be smaller portions on each meal, but the daily intake will be the same. On the flip side, if it's a day where I'm going to struggle to get the 6 meals in, maybe I've woke up late, maybe I'm going to bed earlier, maybe just I've had too long between meals, I'll cram them into 5 meals, I'll up the protein, up the carbs, up the fat as necessary to get those meals in, so I'm hitting the macros correctly. For me personally, the meal number is nowhere near as important as the total calories and the total macros and hitting them and being consistent with that. Whether you want to do that by eating every 2 hours or eating every 4 hours, I don't think there's much of a difference in that. Those are the times where protein synthesis is still going to be working and active, whereas if you're fasting for 6, 7, 8, 12 hours a day, you're not going to be making the best gains possible. So don't stress too much over the amount of meals that you're having. Get your macros sorted and get your calories sorted and be consistent with hitting those. Now, how have I came up with these calories and with these macros? Pretty simple. It's what I was doing and it's what was putting me in a good point before I started relaxing off a little bit over Christmas. So I'm just going straight back to that. And the reason I know that was working is because during the prep, I was tracking everything very strict. I knew what was happening with my body weight. I knew how I was getting leaner. I knew how I was losing fat. So to up that weight, I was just gradually upping those calories again. If you want to figure out how much you need to be eating, whether it's to bulk, whether it's to cut, I do have a full video you can watch here on how you work out your macros. But as a general rule of thumb, if you're wanting to gain body weight, take your body weight now and multiply it by anywhere between 16 up to 20 for extremely hard gainers. That's going to be your calories as a starting point. Eat that number. If you're looking to lose weight, take your body weight now, multiply it anywhere between 12 and 14. That's going to give you a good starting point of calories that you want to aim for. A good macro split that I personally like to do is around 50% of your calories from carbohydrates, 35%, usually I call 33% for me, of protein, and then fats is going to be the remainder of that. There are other ways to do that, but that's kind of what works for me. Another way you can figure out your calories is by keeping a food log, weighing yourself daily, taking an average of what you weigh over that week. Track your food daily. Have you gained weight? Have you maintained? Have you lost weight over that week? When you know what you're consuming on an average daily basis, you can then say, okay, to gain weight, I'm going to bump it up by 5 or 10% of total calories. To drop weight, let's start with the calorie deficit of 300 or 500 or 10% of what those calories are. Workout split, pretty simple. I'm going to be going back to what I was doing just following the post-show period in 2023. And this is specific around the body parts that are lagging for me. And those body parts are shoulders and arms. Now, despite breaking my shoulder in early 2023, shoulders and arms, surprisingly, are the two areas that have been brought up that I wanted to bring up, that I was focusing efforts on. I thought the broken shoulder, with having to take time off from the gym and then coming back, rehabbing, not being able to train properly for a while, I thought my shoulders and arms were going to suffer. Not the case at all. My chest has even grew and I can barely bench press anymore. But I don't know how that's worked, but I'm really fortunate and really happy that shoulders and arms have developed a little bit. But what I want to do is continue building those shoulders, building those arms. I've already got a really developed chest, so that's not a priority for me. Arms and shoulders are two areas that I've been given feedback on from bodybuilding judges. And when I am looking at myself in wrestling photos and wrestling footage, arms and shoulders are two areas that I personally would like to increase the size of to improve the overall aesthetic, the look of my physique. 2023, I did notice my legs had suffered a little bit. Not that they got skinny, but legs for me was always a super dominant body part, especially when I was younger. You could literally take a photo of me on stage, cut it from the midsection. The legs would look like a bodybuilder was compete for years and years and years. The upper body would look like a novice. I don't know if it's because the upper body has came up, the legs are now not looking as dominant, or maybe the legs just haven't developed in the same way as what my upper body has over the past 18 months or so. So legs don't look as freaky now, but that's something that I'm not really too concerned with. Yes, I like them to be bigger, but I would like all of my body parts to be bigger. I think now I'm more in proportion as opposed to having dominating legs. So that's not something I'm overly concerned with just quite yet, but it has given me that kind of motivation or that little spark to make sure that on leg days, I am still pushing it and I'm not slacking on those training days. So with that in mind, the workout split for me is comprised of a bicep and leg day, a shoulder and chest day, a tricep and back day. So it's a 3-day split, but with 2 cycles in there. So each of those workouts has a workout A and a workout B. So it's, yes, a 3-day split, but the entire workout will take 6 days, depending on when you put the rest in. And this is where things are going to be a little bit flexible around my wrestling schedule and around the business that I'm running and around just general life. In an ideal world, I would be able to train 6 days in a row, recover fine, feel fine, and take 1 day off a week. However, I do notice that when I am lifting heavier and I'm wrestling and I'm traveling for wrestling, I'm getting home late and I'm tired, that recovery does drop. I'm sometimes going to the gym feeling like I shouldn't even be in it today. So that being said, I am actively trying to put in an extra rest day and train 3 days on, 1 day off, 3 days on, 1 day off. So a Monday will never be a bicep and leg day every single week. A Tuesday will never be a chest and shoulder day. The days that I train will change week on week because of this rotation, and that doesn't bother me at all because my schedule, the lifestyle I've got, that doesn't matter at all. All that matters for me is making sure that I'm able to fit the workouts around wrestling shows and wrestling training, so performance at the show, performance at training isn't going to suffer. The ideal scenario here would be doing that 3 days on, 1 day off, 3 days on, 1 day off. And by doing this, I can hit legs on day 1. I can then have an upper body session of chest and shoulders on day 2, then hit back on day 3. So the 2 big muscle groups, legs and back, again a day between before hitting them again. There may be some crossover if I'm doing a deadlift or straight-legged deadlift and lunges and hypers and things like that between the leg and the back day. So having that rest day between would be very beneficial. Then the 4th day being a rest day, it means between back and legs again, you're having that rest day. So if I can stick to the 3 days on, 1 day off, I'm always going to have that rest day in between. I hate taking rest days though if I don't feel like I need one. So that 4th day, I'm going to have to condition myself to just thinking, okay, today is the rest day. There's no other body parts that I need to train. I can't throw an arm day in there because I've just done biceps or triceps on the day before. So that 4th day, I will dedicate to abs, calves, cardio, stretching, something to remain a little bit active. If I feel like I want to go to the gym, mentally, that will put me at ease. It'll keep me active, give me something to do without feeling like I kind of slacked off for the day. But hopefully, the training will be intense enough where that 4th day comes and I'm going to feel like I need that rest day. I'm not going to go into the specifics of the workout in this video, but subscribe because I will be doing videos around what each of these workouts looks like. I'm going to be bringing the volume back and down a little bit from what I have been doing previously, again, to help with that recovery, but to also make sure that I can put more intensity and effort into fewer sets, which will hopefully lead to better growth. Supplements, we've currently been in a health phase over the past couple of weeks, and moving into 2024, I will be adding supplements back in quite early on to help with this mass gain phase. So those bags of creatine are going to be getting hammered, believe me. Woo! Along with all of this, wrestling is going to be continuing as normal. In 2024, I want to prioritize wrestling training. So I want to be making sure that I get to wrestling training every single week unless I have a show that clashes with the day of the wrestling training. So wrestling training needs to be the priority. Bodybuilding cannot, and I'm not going to allow it to interfere or conflict or take away from the wrestling training, because ultimately what I want to do with my life is become a WWE superstar. I want to become that WWE wrestler, and the bodybuilding, the physique, the training I'm doing should be there to enhance my lifestyle, not to detract from other areas. So it's very important for me that I still maintain good cardio, that I still maintain some flexibility from stretching and incorporating that into the workout and into the routine. And also that I'm recovered and I'm not feeling FUBAR when it comes to a wrestling show or a wrestling training session. So for me, I do want to prioritize that, and the bodybuilding, in the work in the gym, the diet, the physique should be to enhance my potential in wrestling. And then plans for 2024, I would love to do the NABA Universe again at the end of the year. So I'll have to do a prep where I can do a qualifying show later in the year to qualify for the Universe, all in one prep, as opposed to doing two preps, one at the start of the year, one at the end of the year. From a bodybuilding perspective, that's the main thing that I want to focus on. Getting in the top 3 of the Universe would be mint, because 2 years ago I got 5th, last year I got 4th, so this year if I can crack that top 3, that would be proper mint. From a wrestling perspective, as I've just mentioned, I want to prioritize wrestling training. I have started wrestling in different countries in 2023, so continuing to build a profile around the world would be, something that I would aim to do. I would like to debut in more countries. The biggest goal for me is getting to WWE. How that's looking right now with tryouts, with their hiring system, I have no idea what's going on. So all I can do is keep working, keep training, keep building that profile, keep getting better as a wrestler and as a performer, that if an opportunity does arise, I'll be there, I'll be ready for it. But outside of that, the next big goal that I've got would be to wrestle in Japan. And in 2024, that is something that I am adamant that I want to do. I have been making connections. I've been trying to make this happen throughout 2023. I'm hoping 2024 is the year that it can happen. So we'll wait and see. So from a wrestling perspective, from a bodybuilding perspective, those are the two things that I want to be doing this year in 2024, alongside adding all this mass without becoming a fat ass. If you want to see what the workouts are going to be looking like and what my full day of eatings will be looking like, hit that subscribe button to be notified of when all those videos come out. If you have any questions, let me know down in the comments below. But to see what typical day of eatings look like when I am at a wrestling show and how I balance bodybuilding with wrestling, check out this video here. Until next time, remember, this ain't no gimmick, it's a lifestyle.